Nadvatul Ulema. The Aligarh and Deoband movements stood apart and worked with glaring contrasts in their objectives and strategy. Aligarh was not a religious movement and emphasized on the acquisition of Western education by the Muslims. It laid greater stress on the Western education so that the Muslims could get into government services in order to compete with the Hindus in political and economic sphere of life. Due to its stress on Western education, the Aligarh completely ignored the religious aspect and therefore did not make any effort to strengthen the religious aspect of the Muslim society. As a result of this policy, the graduates of the Aligarh seriously lacked in religious education and could not cultivate religious leanings. Tehreek-e-Deoband rendered educational services to the cause of the Muslims, but it was a purely religious movement and laid greater stress on religious education. The Deoband Seminary was totally incompatible with the modern trends of education. It prepared great ulema, Sufis, and spiritual leaders who could not only take on the responsibilities of spiritual and religious guidance of the Muslims by becoming priests and leaders of praise. They were fiery orators whose primary objective was the spread of Islam. The students of Deoband were completely oblivious of the Western and modern knowledge and were unable to guide the people in the modern education. In these circumstances, there was enough room for an institution which could combine the broad features of both Western and religious trends of education, so that the extremist view of Deoband and Aligarh could be minimized. Establishment of Nadwatul Ulema. In 1892, it was decided in a meeting held at Madrasa-e-Faiz-e-Aam, Kanpur, that a committee should be set up for the guidance of the Muslims. The Nadwatul Ulema was established in 1894 as a result of efforts of some religious-minded government servants, Sufis and Ulema, who wished to bring the Ulema together in order to remove the sectarian differences. The main objective of this institution, as mentioned earlier, was to guide and prepare the Muslims well equipped in the religious and modern knowledge. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan in the beginning did not like the idea and was somewhat skeptical of the institution's success, but later on welcomed the move. Founders of Nadva. Maulvi Abdul Ghafoor, deputy collector, is said to be its earlier founder. Maulana Shibli Nomani, sometime a close associate of Syed Ahmad Khan, was closely associated with the Nadwa. He and Maulana Abdul Haq prepared the rules and regulations of the Nadwa and chalked out a liberal program which was to put an end to the extremist elements in order to cater the needs of the prevailing environments. Objectives of Nadwa. The main work of the organization was the establishment of a Darul Uloom at Lucknow. The Nadwatul Ulema stood for general reformation of Muslim society by attracting the Muslims toward religion. It had been established with a view of promoting religious knowledge, moral uplift, and social regeneration of the Muslims of India. Apart from these objectives, the Nadwa worked to remove sectarian differences among the different groups of ulema. The Nadwa kept aloof from the political activity and stressed upon separating the political issues from its main objectives. The establishment of Nadwatul Ulema was widely hailed in the subcontinent. It regularly started functioning on 2nd December 1898 at Lucknow. The regular classes began with its establishment. A large number of philanthropists contributed generously for the Nadwa. However, the establishment of Nadwa invited some criticism from different quarters. Sir Anthony MacDonald, who was the governor of UP at that time, lashed out at Natwa and declared it as the center of political activities. Maulana Shibli was born in 1857 at Azamgarh. He received his education in the old Islamic madrasa and was deeply influenced by Maulana Muhammad Farooq, who was bitterly opposed to Sir Syed Ahmad Khan's movement. Maulana Shibli's father, greatly influenced by Sir Syed's visit and foresight, suggested him that he should acquire English education. He, however, did not act upon this advice and continued with the attainment of highest Islamic education. He joined Aligarh College as assistant professor of Arabic in 1883 after vainfully trying for several years to seek a government job. Maulana Shibli, impressed by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan with his scholarship and devotion as a teacher. Maulana Shibli was a well-read and keen person who took to his job with utmost sincerity. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, observing the rich talent in the young Shibli, greatly encouraged him with the sympathetic approach. Maulana Shibli utilized the opportunity with enthusiasm and soon became a valuable asset to the Aligarh College. However, the cordial relationship could not last very long, and some serious differences, mainly due to Maulana Shibli's nature, developed between Sir Syed Ahmad Khan and Maulana Shibli. Shibli was a highly sensitive and proud person by nature. He was not very happy with the treatment he received at Aligarh College as he expected a highly elevated position, being an assistant professor of Oriental languages. He disliked the educational pattern of Aligarh and was of the view that the ideal system of education would be a mingling of the old and the new, a modified form of the old system and not the new which was being practiced at Aligarh. He openly negated the religious views of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan and resigned from the Aligarh College in 1904. The establishment of Nadwatul Ulema was a boon from heaven for the ambitious Shibli. He saw in it the opportunity he so eagerly desired to capture in order to experiment his educational philosophies. Maulana Shibli believed that the Nadwa would provide him a chance to become the leader and head of the religious ulema and ultimately to acquire the authority and status much higher than Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. He therefore actively took part in the meetings of Nadwatul Ulema and finally joined it after the death of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Maulana Shibli's association with Nadwa greatly enhanced the prestige of the institution. He worked very hard to make Nadwa a useful institution for the people because in its success he saw the realization of his dreams. He was made the in charge of madrasa which was maintained by Nadwa. He introduced a number of changes in the circulation on the basis of his experience he had received at Aligarh. He also introduced a study of English language as a compulsory subject at the madrasa. He gave special attention to a cohesion group of students and took great pains in training them as his trustworthy disciples who could carry on his work and spread his message. He gave them training in writing so that they could become writers and authors to provide intellectual leadership after him. Few of his most celebrated pupils were Sayyid Suleiman Nadvi and Maulana Abu al-Kalam Azad, who ably succeeded him in the political and literary circles. Maulana Shibli's efforts strengthened Nadwa's financial position to a large extent. He established an academy of authors at Azamgarh, which carries on his message to this day. He laboriously tried to gather support for his developing institution from all quarters and maintained friendly relations with Vikarul Mulk and Mohsin Mulk. However, Maulana Shibli invited criticism from his colleagues at Nadwa. Maulana Shibli suffered because of some personal lapses of character and himself provided an opportunity of criticism. He was highly sensitive and touching man, which made it difficult for others to pull along with him. Moreover, he had posed himself as the champion of the religious group, but his views and personal character lacked religious tinge, which did not enhance his reputation as a leader of religious movement. His colleagues at Nadwa soon got fed up of his views and especially of his arrogant style and combined to get rid of him. Maulana Abdul Karim wrote an article of jihad in 1930. He criticized the views of Maulana Shibli. Maulana Shibli, who always boasted to be a great advocate of intellectual freedom, took disciplinary action against Maulvi Abdul Karim and removed him from the teaching staff. This led to a strong agitation against him, and Shibli, taking him as indispensable, tendered his resignation. The resignation was accepted and all his efforts later on to stage a comeback was foiled by his opponents. Maulana Abdul Hai, Nawab Hussain Ali Khan and Dr. Sayyid Abdul Ali succeeded Maulvi Shibli as administrators of Nadwa. The resignation of Maulana Shibli adversely affected the working of Nadwa, which could never gain that glory which Maulana Shibli had brought to it. The Nadwatul Ulema produced men with high academic and intellectual foresight. Although Nadwa could not accomplish its desired aim, yet its services for the promotion of Islamic education are immense. A number of students of Nadwa led the people in the freedom struggle, which include Sayyid Suleiman Nadwi, Maulana Abdul Salam Nadwi, and Masood Alam Nadwi. Maulana Shibli issued a research journal, Marif, under the auspices of Darul Musanafi Academy of Authors, which occupies a high status in literary circles.